Hola ballers! Welcome to our fresh journey into FF7 Rebirth. We've held this one for a long time. It was the final of the single player installments of the FFs that we wanted to get done this year before we go into expansions like X2 and such. Was excited for this one. Everybody when it came out told me it was amazing. Couldn't wait. Also very long, so I couldn't do it before I went to the Race to World first. Got back. This is it. We're jumping in. So this is going to be Chapter 1. One thing I was very excited about getting into this is at the end of Remake, they kind of went off in their own direction. They broke the timeline, right? Zack's still alive. They killed off, I think it was Biggs or Wedge. It wasn't in the recap. Someone died. I'll remember who it was. They brought in different characters. They'd obviously dragged Midgar out into an entire game in Remake. But the point was, at the very end, the Whispers had arrived and they had changed everything so that what we were going to get in Rebirth could actually deviate from the original plan. That hasn't really happened yet. I was a little surprised. I was expecting almost a dramatic shift, but I think the nostalgia factor of FF7 is sort of still a almost hamstring on the developers and the writers. It's like people were promised a modern FF7. We still kind of have to deliver that. And if we go too far out of whack, then it's going to maybe mess things up. Or they're easing us into eventually branching off. I don't know. This is Chapter 1. So Chapter 1... this felt like a Hideo Kojima influence. I think Chapter 1 has maybe a tenth of the play that I did yesterday, which is probably like 6 hours or something, was gameplay. The rest of it was just cutscenes and movies. They were phenomenally well done, but there was a lot of downtime. There was a huge amount of downtime. A little bit of running around, went back to corridors. One thing I was looking forward to was less linear corridor-type combat. Remake was all corridors. And talking to my friend Jesse, who gave up on Remake because of that, it's like, I'm just running around in corridors all the time, and it's not fun, and then it's go back through the corridor. There was less backtracking, certainly in Chapter 1. But also, so far, haven't uncovered things like side quests or interesting characters. It was more of a refresher, leading to, obviously, the release of Genova with Sephiroth, and still kind of sticking with the mishmash of the mystery. Now, one thing that was really interesting, though, is there was quite a few of my viewers when I was streaming it who were like, I've not played the OG, so I don't actually know what's going on. So we enacted like a no spoiler policy, even though usually if we've played a game on the stream, it's fair game. We respect the people who are like, I didn't play the OG, I wasn't watching your channel when you played the original, it was a while ago. So, we're kind of respecting that a little bit, but still messing around and still being intentionally vague with Tifa. That we once again recreated the water tower scene where they were sat, where Tifa is kind of saying, like, I don't remember you being here 5 years ago the way you remember it, but you clearly remember it. And she even shows the scar. Respect to the devs, by the way, for not showing Tifa's tummy. And I mean, her tummy is out all the time, but the scar and stuff, I think they understood people might get a little weird about it. So they cut away so it was behind as she showed the scar off. And I was like, uh-oh, here we go. And they didn't do it, which was a good shout. That was a good shout. But so far, pretty much unchanged entirely. Besides a few layouts and things. But everything is still there. The door where Vincent's hiding is still there. You can't go in yet, and Sephiroth goes into his reading frenzy, and eventually, has the revelation that he's a creation of Genova, and Mommy needs to be, brought back, and things like that. So I've got very little to say, honestly. Am I disappointed? Not really, but a little bit. Not like, oh, this sucks. That's not what I'm feeling. I'm just feeling like, oh, I thought we were going to deviate a bit more than this. I thought we were going to have something odd happen in Chapter 1 that like, oh, wait, that's not the way it went down. This is different. But because considering mainly Chapter 1 of Rebirth is all of the memories of Cloud expressing what happened in Nibelheim, they kind of just stuck to the original plan and went with it. So one thing I'm really looking forward to as we get into Chapter 2 onwards throughout this, I know this is a very long game, a lot of people have pointed out, it's like 100 hours plus, is that at some point it will start to deviate. Like, we know Zack is off doing his thing and rescued Aerith, left Red 13 to die, screw you, Zack. All those kind of things are happening, but most of Chapter 1 was just like, oh, this is what happened back in Nibelheim with Cloud. and Tifa and Sephiroth. I'm like, okay. Again, phenomenally well done. A lot of it was just movie, just watching what happened and being along for it. I think there was only like 3 houses you could go into, and then it gave you a bit of a cutscene to go with it. A little bit of fun with like going through Tifa's bedroom and the girls being like, "You creep, you creep," which is creepy. But I wanted the loot. I wasn't trying to find any undergarments or anything like that. So that's where I'm at right now. An expectation not met yet, but understandably, people were promised an FF7 revision of FF7, and they still loved that story. I'm really hoping the story comes out more coherent this time. Like, I know a lot of people who have heavily invested in FF7 and probably watched tons of videos and stuff on it are like, oh, the story makes perfect sense. But if you watch one of those videos, like an hour and a half long to explain what's going on, where you can summarize a lot of the video game stories, even the complex ones, much more concisely, this one is a little unclear when you play through it the first time. It's certainly the way I felt, even as an adult, playing FF7 for the very first time a couple of years ago, the OG version, and being like, what is happening here? What's going on? So I'm hoping it's a little more coherent. The mystery is obviously there, but we're still sticking to the idea that characters are not saying things that you would say. Like Tifa would say, I don't remember you being here. At that point, like, it was different. It was weird. Instead, it's just, like, glossed over quickly and moved past. So we'll see. So that's where we're up to. And obviously, I'll update you every single day I can with what's going on. All right, guys? So I'll see you again. Bye-bye.